Hello, everyone. It's me again, Delightful Soul.
So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can hear more content about your favorite celebrities, my opinions, and what's happening around the world. So let's get into this video.
After making an odd video, the former couple made an internet headlines as Jackson admitted to being a serial cheater after being exposed by several women. Shortly after, photos of him in Miami with another woman appeared after the picture was posted. He announced he and Danae had been separated for almost a year. He filed for divorce in December of 2022. While becoming seemingly emotional, the mother of the three said she hates what she did because essentially it didn't amount to anything.
What was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true, some of it is completely false. But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derek Jackson was involved with other women outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out. Definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took. And definitely not in what was the cause outside the marriage.
But this is not what this video is about. It's about getting to the lowest point of a relationship when you are willing to conform to please someone who is insatiable. Danae Jackson, the ex-wife of internet relationship coach Derek Jackson, is finally breaking her silence on her past marriage. In a Dear Future Wife podcast episode, Jackson sat down with the host, Laterras Whitfield, to discuss intimate details of how she tried to save her marriage. With the clip going viral on social media, Jackson touched on a low point where she said she knew other women's bodies better than her own, referring to women her husband had affairs with. Danae goes on to say, taken aback by a bold comment, Whitfield paused to reflect on how serious that comment was. She said, I spent a lot of time. I went into a deep hole as I was like studying these women. I will go to their profiles and I will study their pages and what they wear. She continued the conversation, admitting that she would even watch inappropriate tapes of her husband with these women and her husband trying to emulate them as well. She would do that. She said, I would try to imitate that and recreate it in our relationship so that he could choose me and want.
What did that do to you?
I became a shell of myself. I didn't know who I was. I actually have a couple posts on my page where it's like, I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own.
Stop. Let that sit there. You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own, and I spent a lot of time. Like I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up. So I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationships so that he could choose me and want me.
This person says, really think about this. This man made a career off telling women how you should be treated, took advantage of it, repeatedly cheated and would still preach to the same women that men like that are no good and profited from it. If the devil was an actual person, equal Derek Jackson.
How a man treats you is how he feels about you. But there's an exception, and that's that sometimes a man will treat you according to how he feels about himself. Like, a man is not going to grow with you if he does not prioritize growth individually on a personal level. Or a man is not going to keep it real with you if he doesn't keep it real with himself. A man is not going to be able to be forgiving and kind and compassionate and graceful with you if he's very shameful and critical and harsh with himself. And if he doesn't take time to love on himself, if he's not self-respecting and who he allows access to him and the things that he does, he definitely ain't about to respect you or love on you consistently in the way that you need. Now, that's not to say that if a man does you wrong, then tolerate it because that's not how he feels about you. What I'm saying is, before you even care whether or not this man wants a relationship with you, you first need to assess, has he cultivated a healthy relationship with himself? Because if he doesn't have that to pull from, he definitely doesn't have that to offer you.
Yes, go ahead and check out the full podcast on Dear Future Wifey. Laterras Whitfield from the Dear Future Wifey podcast did an awesome job in allowing Danae to tell her side of the story. So please check out his full podcast in the description below, parts 1 and 2. Most focus on this part of the interview, I would presume, to further their superficial insults, rather than focusing on what and how she is surviving Derek Jackson. She must have been a shell of herself to have been able to watch explicit videos and look at explicit pictures of her husband and another woman. And I can imagine that being traumatizing in itself. Then she used the word of God as a weapon. And yeah, some of y'all got mad out there. And that's what it was supposed to be. But instead of condemning Derek for being a hypocrite, people went in on this young lady about her looks and making comments as to why they understand why Derek stepped out on. But anyway, let's be fair. He clearly defined and narrated the trifling man to the T. We found out he was describing himself, and it was like he was using Danae and other women as his experiment. I too focused on this portion of the video or the interview because she describes someone who has been broken, and she thought that conforming to someone else would put things back together. She was willing to sacrifice herself to someone who did not and does not deserve it. I believe Danae's healing process is still in its infancy stage. You know, she and Derek had been separated before, and then they got back together. So just remember, he filed for divorce in December of 22, and then she filed shortly after. Because in the interview, she mentioned that she only came to the conclusion that they were done when he said they were done. So otherwise, she may have been still in this saga of a marriage. I just hope she understands that she is young. She's 33, I believe. She is blessed with a second chance, second time around, where she can focus on herself and her children. Her story is not uncommon for a lot of people, and I hope that she can use her story to help heal others when someone has mishandled your heart.
So y'all tell me what you think about this story, and as always, I thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye now.